we're on sort of a quasi USGBC time, right?
Right.
So it's like USGBC meeting, hopefully with less of my ranting.
No, that's not possible.
We're gonna try.
All right.
So,
Well, just don't ask me about how my lead fellow application is going then.
maybe for overtime.
Maybe.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for another Oppenheimer Who Is with Martha Norbeck. So starting off, Martha, how do most people know you?
Most people know me because I am the lead person, sometimes the lead lady. Some people say that they go to the AIA convention to attend the Martha Hour. Because every year at the American Institute of Architects fall convention, I give a presentation. I've been doing this since 2005. And it's always about lead sustainability, how to get architects to pay more attention to their ethical obligation of caring about the environment. So I have somehow become the person who people talk to when they have questions about green building.
Well, I know I actually call you when I have random ones of like, hey, by the way, does this thing work? So I can attest to you being the lead lady from my perspective. And just for those who don't know, aren't in U.S. Green Building Council parlance, so LEED is Leadership in Environmental and Energy Design. There's a certification process. Am I getting that right, or am I gonna lose MLab points?
No, it's technically leadership in energy and environmental design, but you got all the words in there.
I can never tell which is more important, energy or environment, ironically.
Well, interestingly, in my neighborhood, nobody knows me as the lead lady. They know me as the person who has the tiny, cute house and the pretty yard. So my lot is 0.2 acres, 80 by 80.
What is 0.2? That would be, 80 by 80. Oh, yeah. Okay.
80 by 80.
Right.
And my house with the spacious second floor addition is 570 square feet. And it has solar panels, it's south facing, it's all electric, no gas. So we're gonna add a few more panels here soon. So hopefully I'll be close to net zero, but that's the dream, is to make this house water independent and energy independent. I'm still waiting for batteries to get more useful.
So you're just hoping Elon Musk solves the world's problems, apparently.
Yes.
Because I mean, I hear he's the leader of everything.
He's not going to do it. He's going to say he's going to do it, but he's not going to be the one to do it. He might pay someone to do it, but he himself won't do it.
I don't know if you're taunting me on starting something about Elon Musk, but I know that's going to have to go to overtime, maybe a few hours worth.
Let's not go there. I don't really know much about the man. Anyway. But I also have all this food growing in my yard and native plants, and people stop and look at and point at my yard a lot.
Seems positive. You've got a good pointing per square foot ratio.
Yes. And there are some kids who love to come and steal my strawberries every summer.
Oh.
So I have to plant extra strawberries for the kid share.
In Des Moines, it turns out, I was just reading the fence code, you can't actually put an electrified fence within city limits. So I don't know how it's going over where you are, but I would recommend, if it's anything like Des Moines, don't protect with electric fence, right?
I'm just going to let the kids eat.
Oh, well, okay, fine. If you're just going to be a good person, that's completely different. It sounds like in many ways, you sort of have a lot of the pieces that are really cool given what you're looking to do. But if you could wake up and do anything tomorrow, money, location, anything is no impediment. If you woke up tomorrow and you're doing what you really want to do, what would it be?
So I've had trouble thinking about this question. I mean, there's the immediate, pent up demand to travel, which COVID causes trouble with. But if I got the travel part out of the way and I was back in Iowa, then what I would do tomorrow once I got my pent up travel demand out, which it would happen in some kind of vacuum so that tomorrow and the travel would, anyway, I would hire somebody who knows how to do what I do now. And then I would start designing water and energy independent homes to go in all the empty urban lots in my town. Like these places I bike by all the time where I'm like, oh my God, you could do a really cool solar energy independent, small home space there that promotes community. Like I would start designing all those and build them and show that it can be done.
Well, I mean, I hear, obviously maybe Brad Pitt could be open for that. He's into small houses. I don't know who we call about that.
I would probably need someone to front me $1 million to really embrace this wholly and proceed with it. Yeah.
I mean, Ashton Kutcher is trying to be Iowa's Brad Pitt, so maybe
there we go.
We could call Ashton.
But I feel like, the way to make this happen is to lead by example. And so I would like to take these cute little lots that are just demanding a cute home that shows how to do it right. And I would love to take those over and do it.
In some ways, I think that opens the door to the next one, which is if we're going to make the world better, you snap your fingers, it's changed, it's different. What are the first 3 things you would do to change? What would you do? All of a sudden, it's like, man, this is in. Now the world's better.
Yep, I've been giving this a lot of thought. So there's this meme going around saying that in the 1950s, the workers produced 10 cookies, and the rich people kept 3. And then today, the rich people are keeping 9 to 9.5 cookies, and the workers are getting a half a cookie and fighting over it. So if I could do something tomorrow, one of the top things I would do is I would change that globally so that the rich people could never have more than 2 cookies, proportionally speaking. Because I think that would leverage a lot of changes in terms of how we express our values and how the working people express their values if they had more market control. The next thing I would do is I would reserve half of the planet for basically habitat. And this isn't crazy. Like E.O. Wilson has actually laid out how this could happen. So this is not an insane idea. Like people have been talking about this. Like reserve half of the planet for habitat. And that doesn't mean people can't be in that habitat, but that half of the planet becomes productive habitat that is supporting the ecosystems we need as beings on this planet to perpetuate our existence into the future.
I mean, to be fair, I think Canada's taking lead on this. I think they've reserved 99% for habitat. It's and all their habitable stuff is actually south of the border. Sorry, I do like Canada. That wasn't an anti-Canada joke.
Yeah, I was going to say, what kind of Canadian comment is that? Is it pro-Canada?
I think it's pro-ish. Yeah,
I think so. I don't think they're that good though, and plus they're also like importing all these things from other places that involve habitat destruction, yada yada yada.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. So what's number 3? So we've got economic rebalancing. Yep.
Yeah. So a habitat, take the money away from the rich people, distribute it, and then I've been struggling with either educate women and girls or solve the battery problem.
Solve the what?
Battery problem.
Oh, I thought you meant battery as in like abuse. I was like, okay, you either educate him or you just at least stop beating him.
Oh, well, that would also be good. But
okay.
The battery, from a power standpoint, we have to solve this fossil fuel problem. And we have to get rid of the fossil fuel usage. And the only way I see forward to doing that is to come up with a battery that's made with readily available non-toxic materials.
Well, or just,
So
I mean,
a biomimetically inspired battery that solves our storage problem to get us through when there's not enough wind and there's not enough sun. Not to mention the fact that PVs are really rather toxic to produce. So, but if you could come up with the battery solution, then the environmental impact from the production side wouldn't be as problematic. But once we solve the battery problem with non-toxic, readily available materials, it's only a matter of time before we solve the other part.
that was actually going to be one of my overtime rabbit holes, was the toxicity of the PV and the curiosity of where your panels were coming from, that sort of thing. So again, I'm putting a pin in it because we might actually be 2 of these, and actually it's under 15 minutes for the first one. And I'll tell you what, that has been a unachievable goal for a while. So last one, most innovative failure.
I've been having trouble with this one. And I have to say, what I keep thinking about every time I ask myself that question is this shelving system I made in a house that I rented, where I really wanted to make it out of 1x2 lumber and metal rods. And I thought I was smart enough to overcome the structural deficiency of that by just tightening the turnbuckle more. And so I would have to, it would keep getting out of whack, and I would have to readjust the turnbuckle on a regular basis. And occasionally you'd bump into it too hard and things would fall off onto the floor because it was too wobbly. So I felt that I got an A for effort and an F for functionality.
I mean, to be fair, this does play straight into the engineer architect conundrum. I'm sure they looked amazing.
Well, I knew I was pressing my luck. I mean, I knew that there was a reason why people don't make things that way. But I felt that somehow this is a classic architect problem, right? Like somehow my intellect was going to make this work, even though it's not how anyone else does it. I knew it was wrong when I did it. I did it anyway. Fortunately, it was just a bookshelf.
We are under 15 minutes, so what I'm going to do is to give us self-bonus, but I want to respond to this because I will make you feel a lot better with respect to the construction of my shed in just a second. Okay, so right now, you have won the timing challenge, which we've been enough meetings. I know you're going to be the one that I thought was going to do it first, but I'm sorry, someone else did it. However, so this is the hard stop.